GM Delco E98 ECM not responding after flash? Here's the real fixed tech's use. Hey there, automotive techs and curious gearheads. I'm Hussain, and welcome back to Baabji Motors, your favorite garage classroom, where we dive deep into the real-world problems technicians face every single day. Before we jump into today's mystery, here's a quick but important note. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. Everything you'll see here is meant to help technicians, learners, and enthusiasts better understand diagnostic and programming procedures. All visuals and references are used under fair use for education and review, and all trademarks belong to their respective owners. Always make sure you follow manufacturer guidelines and your local laws before performing any kind of ECU operation. All right, picture this. You're sitting at your workbench, a cup of coffee cooling beside your laptop, feeling proud because you just read a GM Delco E98 ECM on your CG FC200 in bench mode. You disable the DPF, switch off the EGR, double-check your file, and confidently hit write. The progress bar fills up, the software says, "Write successful," and you feel that mini victory rush only a successful flash can give. But then silence. The ECU refuses to respond. The maintenance light won't blink, and your FC200 suddenly acts like it doesn't know what an E98 even is. So what's happening here? Why does your ECM seem to have ghosted you after a successful flash? Stick with me till the end, because I'm breaking down exactly why this happens and how you can bring that dead ECM back to life like an automotive wizard. Let's start with the problem itself. The GM Delco E98 ECM, which is commonly found in several GM diesel vehicles, is a sensitive unit when it comes to bench programming. When you use the CG FC200 to read and write it in bench mode, the tool can sometimes perform an incomplete or unstable write. The data transfer may appear to finish properly, but underneath, some sectors fail to program correctly, especially if the checksum or the boot sequence isn't perfectly handled by the software. This leads to what we call a bad flash. In simple terms, your ECU's firmware gets scrambled just enough that it can no longer communicate or respond normally, even though the programming tool didn't throw an error. Now, here's the part most people miss. Bench mode isn't always safe for the Delco E98. The FC200 is great for many ECUs, but this particular one can be tricky. If you face a no-response issue after a flash, it's a clear sign that the internal firmware integrity was broken. So what's the fix? You'll need to recover it in boot mode. That's right. Time to go deeper into the ECU's soul. In boot mode, the ECU bypasses normal communication protocols and talks directly through its processor interface, giving you full access for repair or recovery. To do this, you'll need a valid seed key, also known as the shadow password. This key acts like a digital handshake between your tool and the ECU's microcontroller. Without it, the ECU simply won't open its communication ports. Now, while the FC200 can technically attempt boot mode, it's not the most reliable choice for E98 recovery. The pros use tools like OBDSTAR DC706, I/O Terminal, or Trasdata, all of which are more stable for this kind of low-level access. These tools are designed to handle delicate ECUs like the Delco E98 without risking permanent lockout. They let you reprogram or repair the ECU in boot mode safely, restoring its communication and function. Here's a quick rundown of what you should do. 1. Connect the ECU in boot mode using your preferred recovery tool. 2. Make sure you have the correct seed key for the E98 processor. 3. Read the internal flash memory to verify the data structure. 4. If corrupted, rewrite the original stock or repaired file. 5. Once done, verify communication with your diagnostic scanner to confirm the ECU is back online. And just to keep things light, if you ever feel like your ECU is ignoring you, don't take it personally. It's not ghosting you for emotional reasons. It's just lost its firmware personality. Treat it gently, and it'll start talking again soon. The key takeaway? Always be cautious when flashing GM ECUs, especially on bench mode. Boot mode recovery might sound intimidating, but it's your best friend when something goes wrong. Think of it as the safe mode for your ECM. It lets you fix what regular communication can't. So, To recap, if your GM Delco E98 ECM doesn't respond after a write using CG FC200, it's likely a bad flash. Your best bet is to switch to boot mode and use a robust tool like OBDSTAR DC706, a /O terminal, or Trasdata. With the correct seed key and patience, your ECM can be fully recovered. Now, let's circle back to the big question I asked earlier. Why does an ECU sometimes stop responding even after a successful flash? The answer is simple but critical. What looks successful on the surface may actually be incomplete at the firmware level. Always trust verification data, not just success messages. In my opinion, every technician who regularly works with ECUs should get familiar with boot recovery. It's not just about saving an ECU, it's about understanding the system inside out. Once you've done it a few times, you'll start to feel like an automotive surgeon bringing digital hearts back to life. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you ever faced this issue with a Delco E98 or any other ECU? Drop your story in the comments below. And here's a quick fun fact before we wrap up. Did you know some advanced ECUs have internal self-repair sectors that can fix minor corruption on their own? Sadly, the Delco E98 isn't one of them. It's like that one friend who panics at the smallest issue and needs a full reboot to calm down. Alright, that's a wrap for today's video. If this breakdown helped you, let's aim for 10,000 likes and 1,000 comments to push this video up the YouTube leaderboard. Go ahead and hype this video, share your experiences, and subscribe to Baabji Motors for more real-world diagnostic lessons. Until next time, keep your tools charged, your ECUs talking, and your curiosity alive. Happy diagnosing, everyone!